Now, in France, protesting employees of auto parts maker GM&S have been removed by police outside its factory in Poissy, near Paris. They are angry that their new employers have laid off a majority of staff after taking over the company. The case of GM&S is being seen as a test for France's new president, Emanuelle Macron, and his industrial policy. He's planning France's most ambitious labour reforms in decades. Our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, joins me now from Paris. Craig, welcome as always. Let's look at what's happening in Poissy. The protests there are quite instructive, really, of what's facing French industry. Do you think that the auto parts company, which has barely upgraded itself in 2 decades, it's a test, really, for Emmanuel Macron, isn't it?
It is a test, and so it begins. And what you have to look in this demonstration that's going on near Paris are the numbers, as are. They want to cut, the automaker wants to cut a number of jobs, and they can only save 120 out of 277 jobs. And that's why they're protesting. And that rough ratio, 120 to 277, is the ratio that a lot of France is afraid of, because the new laws are going to introduce caps on redundancy pay to those whose employment has been terminated without just cause, as determined by the employment tribunals. And that's precisely what's going on in front of that Peugeot factory.
Now, Macron has been talking to some French ambassadors today. Any more details, any more clues about the labour reforms that he's planning?
No, Macron is, let's be clear, these reforms are not planned. They're done. They're baked in. It's happening. And Macron is taking every advantage he can between now and when they become official on September 22 to go on a nationwide public relations campaign. And it's an exercise that's packaged as agitprop, essentially. He knows that the French public is very worried about this. So what he's trying to do is appeal to the best instincts of the French Revolutionary Corps. How ridiculous does that sound to many of our listeners tonight? Never forget, France is an ideological country, and the ideology of France, the battle between the have-nots and the have-yachts, has always taken place on the streets. And Macron is trying to take it off the streets. He will change the law.
Right. Interesting dichotomy. His opinion polls, his polling has gone right down, as we've said before, but business confidence is at a 6-year high. What opportunities and challenges does this give Macron?
Well, he is hoping that by changing these laws, that he is going to generate more new companies in France, entrepreneurial spirit. He's going to be able to bring in more foreign money. And this is a big deal, as this is perhaps the biggest deal, because under the current law, a company needs to provide evidence of poor performance across its foreign subsidiaries, not only in France. Now, after September, it will be possible for a company to downsize or close down their French operation without having to provide subsidies from overseas. This is huge. This is big. At the same time, none of this might sound like much to people who don't live in France. And measured by the standards of what France actually needs right now, it's really not that much. But for the French people, it's big.
Lots to come there. Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you so much.